Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning on the west side of the map, playing in red, we've got Myriad, playing as the Sengoku daimyo. And up against them today, spawning in the southeast in blue, we've got AoE4 Dev Appreciator, also known as Crackety here, playing as the Golden Horde. Welcome everyone to a very green, dry Arabia. And as always, hope you're all having a great morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And I gotta say, well, Crackety's name is on point. We do appreciate the developers at Age of Empires 4. Well, the developers of Age of Empires 4. They've been doing some great work. I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed that we didn't have brand new civilizations. But I have to say, I mean, in an ideal world, of course, I would have loved to have had brand new civilizations as well. But what we have here are 4 variant civilizations. And the variance with them is actually quite large. I think that's something to bear in mind. A lot of people might feel, well, you know, they're just similar to what the original civilizations were, with a couple of tweaks here and there, but actually, there's some big differences, and I really appreciated that when I made the overview videos. It took a long time to do because I had to figure out what was so different about the civilizations, and there is so much. So, for example, already we've got some batch production here for the barracks for the Golden Horde. They produce in batches of 2. I guess good things come in pairs, and today we've got a pair of spearmen going across the map. I'm kind of curious to see how this fares, because actually we haven't seen a lot of this from Golden Horde. They've been relatively slower to get going when you compare them to the original Mongols. So kind of curious to see how much damage you can do with this. The reason for their kind of slowness compared to the Mongols is that they have to wait for the batch production, but also the outpost rush is not really too much of a thing. They've got fortified outposts, which are more expensive, kind of like the Rus outpost, the wooden fortresses, and they cost a bit of stone, which is not the end of the world because you're probably going to get an Uvu and get passive stone that way. But it's still another extra bit of resource you have to bear in mind. The other side of things, Sengoku Daimyo, have the Matsuri. A pretty cool building, I gotta say. In a way, it's kind of cool that it's not a like a landmark. It's pretty powerful. You spend 100 wood for it, but you get so much out of it. Acts as an early market, so you can make traders from it. But more importantly, it's a universal drop-off point. But more importantly than that, you can produce something called the Yatai. It's a building, essentially. Well, it's classified as a worker, but I think it kind of counts as a building where you place it around a food resource and it generates food passively. It's a base of 20 food per minute, and then you get extra for depending what type of food is around it. So going early onto the board like this is pretty powerful. You get the base rate of 20, get the additional 40 per minute, and then it caps at 60 per minute, which is a really nice boost to the income early on. Now, to go alongside that, by the way, you actually get free vision of where the boars and the deer are as the Sengoku daimyo, which can be pretty powerful for team games as well, because if you're thinking about maybe like professional scouts, I mean, to be fair, at that kind of stage you should have scouted where they all are anyway, but it's certainly a nice bonus to have early if you want to have your teammates go on deer like the first thing you do for the extra gather rate on it. Now, as you can see, the Golden Horde are going for the Golden Tent. This is where the magic happens, really. It's going to be housing all the age up options, a couple of edicts, a couple of bonuses that they get, and some research too. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later, but the thing that I think is pretty exciting for the civilizations here, especially in the sort of feudal age landmarks, is the Kokka Township. Obviously very similar in terms of the way it looks to the Japanese, but it's got a bit of a spin on the shinobi. So rather than the shinobi being a unit that you can make or train, you basically summon them down. You can put them in stealth forests, they pop up. They're a really good support unit in that regard, but you can also kind of pop them up in your own base too. But the main thing is that what the shinobi do, they throw grenades that gives you a debuff on their enemies, so they can move away slower. It kind of debuffs their speed, but also increases the damage that they take. It's pretty powerful if you want to catch your enemy off guard if they're retreating and just get a bit more damage in. Now, interestingly, Crackety's going for building carts. Not really a choice we've seen that a lot often. It may be experimenting, because when we compare it to, well, about building carts anyway, you basically get 2 carts to start off with in the next age, and you could make them into basically any military building. So it looks like aggression is on the menu here for Crackety. But the reason why I think we don't see this that often is because the other alternative is really strong. Khan and Turguds. It affects the civilization for the rest of the game, of course. It reduces the stone cost of the Khan, and more importantly, I'd imagine, is the Turguds, but also increasing their health. So it's an upgrade that really carries with you throughout the rest of the game. Speaking of which, though, actually the carts you do get an extra cart when you go to the next stage and the next stage, so you get a bit of a long-lasting bonus that way, I guess. As you can see, the grenades deployed. He's actually dodging them, would you believe? Now, the shinobi don't last forever, by the way, so, you know, they do go back, but you get a bit of a cooldown, and you can summon them again. But I didn't know you could actually dodge the projectiles. Crackety doing it there. Pretty cool to see. Now, I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It goes a long way to support the content. And I would actually like to know from you guys, what's the civilization you're most interested in so far? I think for me, whilst it's not on show today, the Macedonian dynasty could be really powerful. In fact, I've got a casted game on it on the channel, so I'm sure I'm going to be casting plenty more as well anyway. So definitely worth a check out on that civilization because it's looking really strong. I feel like the Sengoku daimyo as well has got a really strong economy, considering the thing about the Matsuri and the Yatai, which we didn't actually touch upon, is the fact that the Yatai not only does it give you the resources passively, but it occasionally sends a trader back once it's kind of charged up. As you can see, there's kind of this yellowish sort of line on top. Once that fully charges, it gets a trader, goes back to the Matsuri, and then it gives you a bit of a food boost that way, but also, more importantly, it increases the aura of the gathering around this structure. So it's 5% now. Get another trader in, it'll be even more. Forcing down an outpost. A couple of Yumi Ashigaru for the Sengoku daimyo, trying to push the spearmen away. And behind this, it looks like Crackety is really just building up his base. He's got the fortified outpost. Got a couple of production buildings, of course, courtesy of the building carts, double producing some archers. Now, the fortified outpost is actually a really big part of this faction. It's a structure, obviously, it's like a tower, but more importantly has the influence around it. So as you can see, by the kind of golden, yellowish, orangish outline there, and you've got edicts. So at the moment, it's got production speed. We might have to come back to that because, okay, it's just an archer, not a big deal. Yeah, we've got production speed edict, got the defensive aura edict, got the Khanash edict, which you do have to actually upgrade. You have to go to research this, which is still a really nice upgrade for sure. And then you got the stockyard edict. So you can only choose one of these edicts to be running at a time, but most of it is really under the influence of the fortified outpost. Now, I remember actually getting a question in the YouTube comments about that. So if you're watching, there we go. That's all you need to know, really, about the fortified outpost. Although, actually, to be fair, within the fortified outpost, there are 2 upgrades you can get as well. Pretty nice. You get earthen core walls, and then the glorious charge, which is an ability, by the way, that you can activate, and as you can see, increases the movement speed of allied units by 50%, and also causes them to take 15% less damage for 30 seconds. Alright, Yatai are out. Now I imagine he's probably got, no, it's only 5% so far actually. Kind of surprising. Right, Crackety on the deer, protecting it with the fortified outpost. One thing to bear in mind as well, actually, despite its increased cost, it only actually has 5 garrisonable spots. This is really not a lot, especially when you think about you want to be out here and gathering food resources. I mean, already he's got, 9 villages here, so there's not enough space for everyone. Fortunately, this Yatai probably will be picked apart by the Kipchak. That's the dangers of venturing out. Of course, we're hitting that time of the game where units are coming out. Interestingly enough, it's going to be the Oda clan daimyo estate for the Sengoku daimyo. I think generally, for the most part, Sengoku daimyo is probably the more complicated out of the new civilizations. They've got estates. As you can see, this is the first of them. Now, there are 3 estates. There's the Hojo, there's the Oda, and then there's the Takeda. They all have different roles, of course. The Oda clan daimyo estate, which is already built, mostly about ranged units and buffing them up. There's levels to them as well. So the Hojo do melee, the Oda do ranged, and then the Takeda do cavalry. Now, with the levels, they're pretty similar, actually, as it happens. Mostly level 1 and level 2, level 3. Basically, level 1 is generally about the bonus health, 5%, 10%. Pretty much the other clans have the same. And the level 3 give a deflective armor for that range of that class of units, which is pretty cool. But more importantly, level 3 is where it becomes really interesting because you can get levies. So the clan estates, they actually get tickets as you can see, and then you can actually start training units based on the clan that you've chosen. But to get level 3, you actually have to build like 3 of these daimyo estates. And the thing is, you can only choose to go to level 3 with one of the daimyo estates. So you got to choose whether you're going to go for level 3 on Hojo, Oda, or Takeda. And you can build another 2 estates, but obviously that caps you at level 2 for the other chosen, daimyo. Mostly just the Spearman and Yumi Ashigaru, although there is a Kanabo Samurai here out for Myriad. Now this is a really cool unit, interesting, very unique to Age of Empires 4. I don't think we don't have any unit like it really. It's got a pretty low base damage, 3 attack, which is really not very much. And then the big thing about it though really is that it does a damage as a percentage of the enemy's HP. So you can imagine the HRE variant civilization, the Order of the Dragon, could struggle against this. Also elephants, they're very high HP. And so the Kanabo Samurai does 6% of the total HP on the unit as damage. I guess it's probably a very case-specific use, but even against heavily armored units, like high HP units, could be really powerful. Ooh, villagers getting the shivs out. Looks like Myriad just playing catch-up mostly. Back at home, kind of curious to see what Kraken's doing. He's kind of eyeing up. Well, he's getting Castle Age already. Relic Uvu's on the way. This is a cool upgrade. It's definitely one that you want to go for if you feel like you're going to get to the Castle Age before your enemy, because it allows you to pick up relics and convert them to the Uvus, essentially. So you get like pretty much infinite stone. There's the Atai food trader, by the way. Coming on home. So currently at 5%. There's the 10% buffering. Well, wait. Yeah, that should go up. Yeah, there we go. 10%. Bit of a forward force here for Myriad. Heading forward with a couple of Yumi Ashigarus, a couple of Spearmen. Garrisoned in the fortified outpost, though. So it should be okay for that. Now, this is kind of cool. The daimyo have... this is a daimyo hero unit, essentially. Every estate can make one. And it's a pretty cool one because it increases the attack speed of nearby melee units and range units, actually, as it happens. Depending on the age, the bonus increases. But kind of similar to the Japanese, when you lose like your hero unit, the effect does last on the battlefield for a little bit longer. Definitely a nice way to increase the attack speed of these units, the Yumi Ashigaru peppering the arrows. But with Castle Age now in play here for the Golden Horde, I suspect he's going to go for some heavy armored units. I mean, it looks like he's got... He could be making Manitars, but it looks like he's probably going to be sticking with the Keshiks at this stage. So losing these stables is not ideal. One thing to bear in mind, he can't pack these up, right? So it's very different to the Mongols. He can't just pack and leave these, move them elsewhere, unfortunately for him. He's going for a lot of archers as well, so going to get the veterancy upgrade on them. Just go toe-to-toe against the Yumi Ashigaru. Getting the blacksmith upgrades as well is expect, kind of the the steeled arrow rather. Now look to be Sake Brewery. Oh, he changes his mind here, Myriad. He's actually going to go for the Temple of Equality. Interesting choice. I guess he feels like he can still challenge for the relics. Yeah, kind of curious. I haven't seen this for a very long time, but it does reduce the cost of the Iko Iki monks. Maybe we'll see those today. Pretty cool, unique unit. It's obviously a monk, but it works a bit differently. So it doesn't have any abilities as such in terms of activatable ones. The way it heals your allied units is actually has to engage in combat. So when it fights, it heals your allied units. But a bit of engagement here. Keshik's diving on the Yumi Ashigaru. The Spearmen, they're going for the Uvu. I don't really know why. What is going on? He needs to be again. Wait, what is this? Has Myriad just missed this? But I mean, the Kanabo Samurai, he wants to go for the Uvu, I guess. But in doing so, he's going to lose his army. He must have been doing something back at home, because for a long time it just felt like these units weren't listening or weren't doing anything. The Kanabo Samurai can't really get out of there. He's trying to, he's going to lose the army essentially here. And Myriad does get to the Castle Age, but without very much army. So this really hurts for him actually as it happens. Not ideal at all. Has got to the next stage though. Now it looks like Kraken's got another relic in play. Coming home. Oh, there's the relic Uvu, depositing it there. The overview, or the overlay rather, is a bit awkward. It doesn't really show how many relic Uvus he's got. It's got 1, Oh, that's the main Uvu. Got relic Uvu there. And, well, he's got 3 Uvus in total now, it seems. Myriad on the board. Could be a bit tricky for him, right? Because he's very much on the map. And these villagers could be cut off and he could suffer some losses. The good thing for Myriad, at least he's not up against Keshiks, right? Because those will be a lot faster on the field. The veteran archers, though, big clump of these. So if he catches any villagers off guard, it's going to be a devastation. Scout just using the scouting falcon. And Batu Khan has joined us on the field. A pretty cool unit. Increases the attack of nearby units as well or damage really. Once it engages in fights. Yeah, this is a problem here for Myriad. He's going to have to go to another wood source, probably down here. But, you know, losing the army so much, so quickly, the last fight wasn't really even much of a fight down here. It's really pegged him back. In terms of army, he's got a lot of production. He's going to go for the Takeda clan as well. So, probably mounted samurai. It's a nice choice. It's an obvious choice, right? Because you're up against archers. It makes a lot of sense. You're going to go for your cavalry. He's going to go for the mounted samurai. Which, by the way, they've had a bit of a reskin. You can see their shields. It looks so, so good. Now, this should actually be enough. I don't think these archers survive. Although, to be fair, slowly but surely, they are whittling down the numbers of samurai. He's going to go for the Khan instead. Does take the Khan and now wants to back away. Well, actually, to be fair, he could take this fight. Now, on the clan side of things, he's got level 1 of both, I think. Yeah, looks like it. We get another daimyo as well. I'm kind of curious to see which one he really commits to. Oh, Shinobi are out in the stealth forest. Nice. Just to finish things off. Pretty cool animation, actually. Both players going to be regrouping back at home now. So pretty even actually after that fight. I mean, Krakeny lost a lot of archers without achieving too much. That's good news for Myriad for sure. The Matsuri just about to be upgraded even further. 15% just about to become 20%. Looks like actually it's the mounted samurai's time to attack as well. This could be a problematic for Krakeny. He probably needs to go into crossbowman, right? That's going to be the natural switch here. Especially he has a lot of archery ranges because he was making the archers. So natural switch into crossbowman has got to be on the menu. And it makes you wonder then what do the Sengoku daimyo go for? Possibly adding Yumi archers of his own. Maybe it could be a good combination. Mounted samurai and Yumi Ashigaru. To go up against what looks like to be crossbowman Keshik. Maybe even Turgut. Although he's getting spearmen as well, getting a bit of everything. Getting some Rus tribute. It's a unique unit for the Golden Horde. Draft them in, costs stone. Pretty handy to have for sure. Alright, battlefield salvage. Getting the Kharash. The Kharash are an interesting unit actually. Pretty much more of a support unit. Pretty cheap. But they're pretty good to help your allied units. Essentially they actually can increase the armor of your nearby units. Looks like both players starting to get hold of some of the sacred sites. We've got this level 2 for the Takeda. So yeah, certainly looking to go for the cavalry. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially when you're learning new civilizations. Cavalry are generally a safe option. But yeah, relatively passive from both players. They've got a decent chunk of army. Looks like Krakeny's thinking about heading forward. He's got a big army actually together. Yeah, Takeda level 2 and Oda just level 1 for now. We haven't seen any upgrades for the cavalry and from the estate. Although I think we just saw one being clicked. There we go. Movement speed. Really nice one to have, of course. It's relatively cheap as well, so it's something you probably do nearly always want to have. Oh, this mounted samurai going to suffer a gruesome fate. The question is, who's really going to have a good transition to farms or basic food income? So Craggedy's got a decent one. Got the new stockyard here, by the way. Sheep are being harvested. Harvested? That's not right the word, is it? 4 villages in each one. Now, we did have a question in the comments on a previous video about whether these villages are safe. They are not. They cannot garrison inside the stockyard, so not like the cows for the Malians. These villages, you've got to keep them safe. Pretty big force now. Craggedy's kind of allowed this to happen. Like, he did have a large advantage of units. Myriad building up the Mounted Samurai and Yumi Ashigaru. So yeah, he did go for that combination, understandably so. It's pretty powerful. He's got the daimyo leading the lines as well. So no Crackety thinking about moving forward. Neither player jumping on the gun just yet. But the good thing about the situation, while it can be a bit quiet in the mid game at times, it means that both players are like kind of sizing each other up, but more importantly, getting the numbers of units up. So we're going to see a big battle, that's for sure. Oh, interesting. Go for the Kipchak archer. So as you guys know, Mongols are they're very much known for their Mangadai. The Golden Horde, they've got access to the Kipchak. Light ranged cavalry, got a ranged attack to it, of course. But there's one upgrade that we really have to talk about, and it's the triple shot. It's incredibly strong in my opinion. Possibly a little bit crazy. We'll just take a look at it here. Triple shot. It does cost a lot of stone, but you're going to get it eventually with the Uvus. What it does, essentially the Kipchak archers fire an additional 2 arrows. Now granted, each arrow that's extra deals 50% less damage, but one thing that we really have to talk about is Kipchak also have a bleeding effect. So they can cause enemy units to bleed, and whilst the damage from the actual triple shot arrows are 50% of the original, you actually get triple bleeding on enemy units. Now that is wild. I think that is going to be something that really does a lot of damage to enemy units. We'll see how they engage today and this particular fight, but I'm excited to see how they do, even against heavily armored units rather. They could still do pretty good work, I imagine. I don't know if it's quite enough to do huge amounts against elephants, for example, but they'll certainly be helpful. What I've seen from them so far, though, is they've been a really good raiding unit, which makes a lot of sense. Like, if you're not going to have access to Mangadai as a Mongol's variant civilization, it's quite nice to have something still pretty useful for raiding. Speaking of which, he's picked up a couple of Yatai, right? So that's pretty good. Looks like he's got enough to two-shot some of these mounted samurai, but he's struggling. He's getting caught. Oh my god, look at this! Yumi Ashigaru going to cut off his retreat. This is perfect for Myriad. Holy moly, the play here. These Kipchak are trapped. They are going nowhere. And this massive group of Kipchaks going to go down in a blink of an eye. A cracking pick-off there by Myriad. Completely surrounded. And that is a lot of dead Kipchak. That could be his way back into the game. We talk about... it's kind of weird, this match, actually. Both players have lost armies in different circumstances, of course, but they've lost them pretty cheaply and pretty quickly. Looks like now Myriad going to head forward with a massive force of mounted samurai and Yumi Ashigaru. What does he have waiting for him? Now, this army is actually not too terrible. I think there's a decent chunk of crossbows, could be a bit more, and that should do a decent work against the mounted samurai, but that is a lot of mounted samurai. Holy moly. 27 of them. So yeah, kind of really not enough crossbows here. Maybe the numbers will start to increase soon. Let's go torch things down. A fortified outpost is a good place to start. Now, they're pretty tanky, but when you have this number of mounted samurai, it's not going to take long to burn through. The crazy thing is that Crackety is going up to the Imperial Age. He's going up with stone armies, which is a cool one because he's going to be able to make discounted units for the Golden Horde. They'll pop up here on the UI very soon. And yeah, I mean, it's just a really nice upgrade. You'll be able to spend the stone and pump out units. But more importantly, he just wants the Imperial Age upgrades, right? He doesn't really want to fight here. But he might just have to. Oh, he's going for the glorious charge. That's going to give nearby military units an additional movement speed, which is not that helpful here. But it's more about the less damage that it's going to take. And he's going to take the fight. There's a decent number of spearmen, to be fair. Acts as a really good front line. Kipchaks and archers and some crossbows on the back line. And they are chewing through things. I mean, Myriad's in kind of a bit of trouble. I mean, looks like he's aggressive, right? But bear in mind, Crackety's holding his own here. And he's going to the Imperial Age. And it looks like clearly Crackety not committing, which is the right move, right? He wants those Imperial Age upgrades. But Myriad, he looks like he doesn't want to let him have it. And he's gonna fight this. But the Mounted Samurai aren't really getting the good surround they want. There's too many choke points. There's a decent chunk of these crossbows as well. Eventually, looks like the Mounted Samurai will clear this out, though, which is actually really bad for Crackety. He's got to the Imperial Age, but he's got no time for these units to be upgraded, right? So he's just lost his army. And I think if you're Myriad, you dive this. You go for this. You clear out the army. And knowing that your enemy just invested in Imperial Age, but has got no units to now upgrade. Great decision for Myriad just to clear this out. And, well, the army's gone. The question then for Myriad is, how much more damage can he do? Can he actually do some economy damage? It's not very clear. A lot of the economy isn't in this spot. And the numbers are starting to whittle down, right? So the elite Turgut are out. The elite Turgut will clear things out for sure. So Crackety survives for now, and he is in the Imperial Age. It's a bit of a tricky one. It felt good for Myriad, but overall, was it really? He cleared out the army. I think he had to do this because, you know, that army going to elite status would be the death of him. The trouble is for Myriad, he's not really got much of a standing army to get to the Imperial Age himself. Look at the income. It's actually looking relatively even, would you believe? But I think the stone income for the Golden Horde has really been a big difference maker. And now he's got elite Turgut to deal with. Yeah, Myriad's going to be under pressure. He's going to have to head back home and somehow survive to get to the Imperial Age. Otherwise, it's just going to be out-teched. He's a lot more farms. He's floating a lot of wood. Not looking great for him. He's fighting nonetheless. It looks like the Batu Khan will go down in the end. But it's absorbing a lot, right? Because the surrounding Turgut actually, it's really cool mechanic. So the Turgut are basically bodyguards. In the sense that the Mounted Samurai or any units that attack the Khan, basically, the damage doesn't go to him. It goes to the nearby Turgut. And you can see the nearby Turgut actually healing him up too. It's not a fight that Crackety wants to take, just outnumbered here. Sure, he's out-teching his enemy, but don't want to be fighting up against that number of Mounted Samurai. Looks like a bit of a transition back to the elite Kipchaks. Has he got the triple shot upgrade? Oh, I can't hope so. I really want to see it. Yeah, he's got it. These Kipchaks are going to do so much work. It's quite quick, but yeah, look, you see the triple bleed. Now, it doesn't last for very long, but it's enough to do a lot of damage, even if the units are retreating. I mean, it's a pretty sizable amount of damage. Holy moly. It means that if you're going to commit, you really got to commit as a Sengoku or anyone going up against Kipchaks. And yeah, I mean, this is essentially Imperial Age versus Caste Age, right? So this kind of hurts for the Sengoku. Sure, he's got heavily armored units, but the Kipchaks with the bleeding effect looks like they can hold their own. I mean, to be fair, if these were elite Mounted Samurai, it probably would be a different story, but still, a really cool upgrade for sure. And there it is. GG gets called. Myriad has to tap out. The Kipchaks on show, lots on show, in fact, today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. What I do have, by the way, is a cracking casted game. It's a Macedonian dynasty cheese strategy. Not fully fleshed out, but it looks to be something that could be coming up your way in the ladder soon. Worth checking out. I'll leave it as an end card on your screen right now. Either way, take care, and see you next time.